Good morning. Well, today I'd like to talk a little bit about the fear matrix that we live in and the fact that the heart is curiosity and love. This is often overlooked. One, I think we're pretty familiar with the concept that we live inside of a fear matrix, that people who are in control, people who are greedy beyond conception, greedy to the point where they worship greed, and they will, happily cut each other out, sell each other out, cut each other down to become the top greed. So we live inside of a greed matrix, a fear matrix, and the only way that people at the top can continue being as greedy as they want to be is by making sure everyone else is very, very afraid, because they, like other people who have researched spirituality, have realized that everything is about vibration, and that the higher vibrating we are, the more accomplished we are in life, and that the lower vibrating we are, the less able we are to take care of ourselves or do anything. Fear is a very, very low vibration. It's been mapped out. Shame, I believe, is even lower than fear, so that the matrix would have us in a state perpetually going from bottoming out into shame and then surfacing into fear. And then this is the cycle that they love. So if you look in media and you look at social customs, if you just look as an observer at a social interaction between a parent and a child, between a couple, between someone buying something, reading behind the lines between a fake smile and what someone's actual emotions are, it's all going to be the same cycle, because this is what we're taught everywhere. It's in the movies, it's in TV, it's in our jobs, it's in our schools. It's this paradigm of we're all always being kept in fear, and then we're dipped down into shame. We're told to be in shame, because shame is an even lower vibration than fear. And what I mean by a lower vibration, it means that the activity within our molecules are moving very, very slow, and slower than they want to move to be healthy. They're moving so slow that they're causing problems, dis-ease, due to a lack of vibrational movement, a lack of cellular activity on an atomic level. This is a lack of movement of our atoms. Our atoms are spinning too slowly. The aspects of our atoms are moving too slowly. So this is really simple. When people talk about all of life as sound and vibration, we're talking about, in a conceptual way that we can conceive of, we're talking about atoms with electrons spinning around them at different speeds, but it goes much deeper than that, because that's just an illusion of what light is. That's not a reality. That's just a little freeze frame that we use to interpret something that's way bigger than us. But we do know that everything is vibration, and one way we can visualize and conceptualize vibration in a partial way is by imagining science class from whatever 6th grade, where we all saw an atom with its orbits of its electrons spinning around it. So everything is about that speed. Nothing is solid. 98% of atoms, everything is empty space. So probability says that once we control the rate of our vibrations, when we have mastery over our individual cells, we can pass through solid objects, because solid objects are absolutely not solid. They're very, very not solid at all. The speed at which something vibrates tells us whether it is a solid material, a liquid material, or a gaseous material. So everything is speed of vibration. So the matrix is all about a fear system. Basically, anything they can do to keep us afraid. They don't care what the fuck it is, because anything that keeps us afraid keeps us in a low vibration, that it prevents us from doing anything cool. Do you know what happens when we're in a high state of vibration? You know what happens when we're in love and curiosity and we're loving everything, and then something makes us afraid? It collapses. Our high vibration, our state of consciousness, which is all of a sudden doing all these amazing things, collapses. There's not a better word I have found other than collapse. Literally, the foundations disappear and it bottoms out. So fear is a powerful, powerful tool, and this is why we always remain loving and curious. This is the heart. This is what balances out the matrix. This is what defeats the matrix, because no form of fear can outweigh curiosity and love. The heart is all about curiosity and love. You might say, why curiosity? I get love. Curiosity is the expansion of consciousness. The heart desires expansion of consciousness. The heart is very conscious. The heart is very intelligent. The heart is a very good guidance system. Again, the heart is not the emotions. Fourth chakra is the heart. Second chakra is the emotions. Our first and second chakra are all about our identity and our survival and the way we relate, and a very small aspect of who we are. They're our experience. They're not our guidance. So we need to be guided by our heart, not our feelings. We need to process our feelings. We need to learn about our feelings and not listen to them. The only thing we want to listen to about our feelings is roughly what they're saying. We want to get the gist of it, and then we want to use our higher functioning. We want to use our personal power to put them in their place so they're not taken over. And we want to use our loving curiosity to examine our feelings and say, hey, is that feeling in alignment with anything? Is it trying to tell me something? Maybe I had an interaction and I thought it was okay, but my feelings are telling me someone said something that was inappropriate. So maybe my heart says, oh, well, I'm curious about that. Well, maybe that person was feeling insecure and they took it out on me. Maybe I want to confront that person. Maybe I don't want to be around that person. Anyway, that's the line of inquiry that the heart says. The heart is very curious and gentle. It doesn't say, oh my God, that person was mean to me. I fucking hate them. I gotta hurt them now. That's our emotional body. When we hear that are the dark whisperings. This is why we want to keep our emotional body in check, because the dark whisperings, this is a whole other topic entirely. There's darkness around that likes to whisper to us all the time. If we let our emotional body, if we give our emotional body half of our being, like some people say, oh, I'm happy with my light and my dark. That means that we're giving our darkness equal share of our being as our light. That means that we're saying, oh, I'm happy with my darkness. I'm happy being mean to myself and being mean to other people part of the time. I don't want to take personal responsibility over my feelings and how I act. So we absolutely do not want to do that. That is slave matrix programming. The most common way this is used is the false ascension matrix. So either in psychology, this says, oh, look, you feel better because you're better than other people. False ascension matrix, dead end, not a source of personal happiness. The other way is the false goddess matrix. That I'm a perfect goddess because I'm a beautiful woman, or because I'm a woman, I'm a perfect aspect of divine feminine. I mean, it can work the other way around, but right now we've got a lot of movement on the women's uprising, which I'm totally in support of the sacred feminine, but I want to keep it pure. I don't want people following false ascension matrices saying that because they're a woman, they're perfect, and because they have feelings, their feelings are perfect. This is absolutely not true. Our feelings are an experiential aspect of us in this world. They are not our guidance system. They are beautiful in their own way. They need to be kept on a leash. They will cause hell. They are the things that are used to unleash hell. When the military trains people, what they do is they tear open people's emotional bodies so that they're in a constant state of emotional reaction until the point where they don't experience emotion anymore. This is standard training for the military, to aggravate someone's emotional body and then suppress all their other functioning to the point where they just wear out the person's emotional body where they don't feel anymore. So trusting our emotions for anything, not a good thing. Focusing our heart, a wonderful thing. So again, this just really clearly frames how the matrix we live in is boot camp. We are trained to be warriors, to fight ourselves and each other. We are trained to be in fear. We are trained to have our emotions overstimulated and be considered overly important. We are told that our emotions are who we are. We are told that when we are powerful and we have power, we have status, then we can use our feelings to hurt other people. We can take our hurt feelings and we can put them on to other people to make ourselves feel better. So again, this is a military training, and this is something that parents do to children, and that bosses do to their employees, and that teachers do to their students. And it's echoed everywhere in society, and anytime you feel it intuitively, you are actually seeing it. No, you're not crazy. It's everybody else with the fake smile, following the routine blindly, who gets terrified of the concept of self-examination. These are the slaves and slave masters. If you have a concern that someone is being mean, they're probably being mean. It might not be that they're consciously being mean, so we want to be very delicate and supportive. But yes, the Matrix is all about being mean and justifying it with a smile and say, hey, look, I'm right. Look at psychology. Look at all these other people that tell me that I'm right for being mean. Again, justification of the mean system. Again, why we need to focus on the heart. This is why it's so important to meditate every day, to have a clear awareness of our chakras, to be tuning our chakras, to bringing into alignment. We hear this a lot. Bringing into alignment is so important. Whatever practice we have, expanding upon our practices and sharing our practices and trying new ones, because until our alignment is so good that words don't hurt us anymore, we can do more on our alignment. I consider myself an infant in this. I've been doing this for, to varying degrees in different ways throughout my life. But in terms of actually getting my alignment to the point where I am able to deal with people that the Matrix says are way above me, but I'm able to deal with them successfully, this has been a matter of months that I've gotten to this point. Primarily due to alchemy and self-accountability. I have taken alchemy and self-accountability so seriously, where if I have emotional pain, I dive into it and I try to figure out a way to solve it. There's been a couple requests for my alchemy process. It's a little personal, it's a little intense. I'm not sure if it'll be captured in a video. I'm definitely going to need someone to video it for me while I do it. So this is going to require a little bit of doing, but I do plan on uploading a video of my personal alchemy practice. I will touch on it just briefly. So my alchemy practice, when I have an emotion, when I get triggered, when someone is quote unquote mean to me, when someone wants me to hurt, I try to do this in a safe space. I try to go behind the building. I go into the bathroom. I wait until I get home. I go into my car, so I'm not going to receive Mr. Smithing for me trying to, heal myself. Mr. Smith of the Matrix doesn't want anyone to heal themselves. They want to pounce on any sign of pain and magnify that pain. So my process is to go into the pain, go into the trigger, go into the wound. Wherever it is, it usually physically manifests in a spot in the body. The taste of the pain is very, very memorable. So we remember what that pain felt like. When I go into that pain. Usually it's in the gut, because the gut is what filters most of our emotions so that they don't get to our brain and so they don't get to our higher self. They're caught in our emotions and our organs. So I go in there and I experience the agony. I experience the person who I conceive of as causing that agony. I experience them causing that agony to the fullest degree, and I embody the what do they call it? The victim. I embody the victim and I embody the perpetrator, both within me. I feel the absolute agony of the experience and the absolute agony of having someone doing that to me at the worst possible moment. And then I just dive in and do this for as long as necessary. 1 second is enough time to do this if I'm doing it well. Then I reach in with all my awareness into the area of my body where that energy is playing out, usually my gut or the back of my neck or my shoulders or some area that's a common area. And I dig into it with my energetic hands, with my chi. So all of my muscles are very slightly flexed, as if I am angry, as if I am with rage, but not in rage. I'm not overtaken with rage. I am cultivating rage and intentionally bringing it into this energy, into this feeling, into this area of my body. And I'm surrounding it and allowing the rage that I'm cultivating to blend with the agony of the pain that I'm experiencing. So I'm experiencing the rage and the agony at the same time, and I'm mixing them and I'm melding them and I'm grabbing it all, and then I'm lifting it up as slow and steadily and as powerfully as I can. So I'm literally with my arms now. My arms were scooping down to wherever the pain was, and now I'm lifting it up. Going through this process of experiencing the agony. I am the person perpetrating. I am the person experiencing. I am the person liberating myself. All of it. It is intense. My body is shaking. I'm starting to sweat at this point, and I lift it up with all my chi. All my focus is on not dropping the ball, continuing the process. The idea that it is not just a do it and leave it. This is a continual process. I'm lifting it up. I'm literally with my arms lifting up the chi up as high as I can go. And as I lift it, I feel that it wants to cling. It doesn't want to let go. So this is where my steady chi, my steady awareness, my steady flexing of my muscles, the steady movement upwards until I get it far beyond my head and I feel its tendrils start to snap off and sliver out. And I keep going until I feel it really release and let go of me. It's a intense, dramatic thing. And then I push it up to God. I push it up to the sun. I push it up to source to just digest it. I mean, the sun is just digest it. The everlasting energy in the universe can take care of this stuff when we give it to them, because this is what they do. We're clearing an energy tangle out from ourselves into the universe. We're offering it up. And then I try to shoot it and throw it and toss it. It's as soon as I've lifted it up out of my being, fully away from my head up above me, then I just shoot it out as much as I can. And I just experience a moment of intensity. I say, I do this so that I may be whole, that I may be complete, that I may be in pure service, that I may be of service to myself and others, that I may be responsible, that I may be present here now. So I build in some affirmations with the solidity and the strength of the whole process. So this is an intense process. This is not something I take lightly. This is not something I would recommend doing in a light way, in a small way. This is a big thing. These energy tangles and our feelings are big things. They affect the whole world. The slave system is run on these negative feelings. This is the term that I've heard is loosh. I don't identify with this term, but it's the one people seem to use. Loosh is the name for negative energy that is then harvested and fed upon. And so we have a system that harvests negative energy so that elite psychopaths can feed on it. And, the fact that the United States has a giant multi-billion-dollar prison system industry. It's a prison industry. These are loosh factories. They don't want to reform people. They don't want to give wardens jobs. They want the wardens and the people in the prisons to suffer. They want to cultivate suffer. These are suffer factories that they siphon off the suffering and harvest from. And I know, as weird as that sounds, when you look at everything from a macro scale and you start reading Rumi and you start reading physics, it all falls into place. There's no leap of logic. Then you look at all the laws that support the prisons, and you look at the fact that the statistics and research shows that prisons are ineffective, and that a lot of countries have found that rehabilitation is effective and prisons are not effective. And then you look at the statistics of how many people are in prison and for why. We can just see these are loosh factories, but the whole world is a loosh factory to the elite people, because they just want people to be afraid so they can be controlled, and they want them suffering because they want other people suffering below them. This is a reptilian state of mind, that I feel better because other people are feeling worse. Okay, I'm going to lighten it up back to the heart a little bit here. So what we can do, we know we live in this. We were really clear on this. We don't have to be in denial about this, because reality is a really beautiful place. We can start remembering that reality is a beautiful place. And just because the Matrix tries to convince us otherwise doesn't mean it's true. We can start looking at trees more. If we're in the city and we see a tree, we can look at the tree as we're walking by. That is an act of rebellion. We're shifting our consciousness to a form of life. And if it is gently blowing in the breeze, or if the sun is shining on it, we're probably getting some meditation just looking at that tree. We are starting to break through the matrix, because we are within an urban environment, and all of a sudden our focus is on nature and on meditation. So the more we can do this, the nature of the heart is curiosity. So just opening up to curiosity. Then the Matrix has told us that curiosity is bad, that we have to have belief systems. I don't think that's a thing. I think that the concept of belief is an artificial construct, a slave construct. I do not quote unquote believe in quote unquote beliefs. I believe that belief systems are designed to enslave. I experienced curiosity, I experienced learning, Belief is this weird little thing, like where you need a temporary conclusion to express something, but you don't want it to be a conclusion. Einstein was really big on this. Einstein didn't believe in belief. Einstein was like, all this cutting edge work that I'm doing, that you're making all this new science off of, you're building technology off of my ideas so you know it works. My ideas are not ready yet. They're not that good yet. They're incomplete. They're just hypothesi that actually have practical application. Keep going. So all the masters know this. People like Rumi have transcended science, so brilliant that they can use a few words to describe physics and all of reality. These people know what they're talking about. These people have unlocked the secret of the heart. The heart is not emotion. We're not talking about hippie fairies that want to live in their emotional body all the time. Those people are fine too. I don't want to knock people that want to be fairies and live in their emotional body all the time. I just want to separate that from the heart. That the heart are people who are brilliant warriors. So the people that are going into prisons and teaching meditation, these are heart warriors. These are heart activated. These are people who are not in their emotional body. If they were in their emotional body, their second chakra, they wouldn't be going into prisons to teach enlightenment. They would be looking for other people to be happy with. So when we're in our heart, we are loving and curious, but more curious than anything else. I think in my last video, I used the expression, why love? Like if we're in a long-term relationship and we really love someone and they do something we don't comprehend and it maybe hurts us a little bit, we might say, why love? Why are you feeling that way? Or what caused that to happen? We are so comfortable with ourselves, with the other person, with our relationship, that the hurt that we experience is less than the curiosity that is brought up, because we comprehend that our emotional body is just telling us that there's a problem and that our heart is guiding us with our curiosity and our love. Now, our heart also is very good at statistics and pattern recognition, as I was talking about in my last video. That statistics and pattern recognition don't require belief. Again, I do not. I think that belief is a tool of slavery. I do not think that belief is a real thing. So we can use statistics and probability and empathy. Empathy is a tool to see if people are lying. If we are lying, then we can see if other people are lying. If we're not to the point of self-honesty, the point where we can tell when we are lying, then it is difficult to tell if other people are lying. But once we are 100% calling ourselves out on any lies we tell ourselves, then we can do it with other people, because we recognize the emotional triggers that we were hiding from ourselves, and now other people who haven't gotten to that state have only developed a poker face, and a poker face doesn't rely on tells. This is a joke. Tells are a psychological game of when someone is bluffing because they experience that somewhere in their body is a nervous tick or a difference in the behavior. You don't need a tell when someone is lying. You can feel it in their aura. You can see how someone is with themselves. When we are 100% honest with ourselves, we can see when people are being honest with themselves. It's just an organic process. We see it. There's no more veils. When we have removed the veils from our perception of ourselves, we at the same time remove those same veils from everyone else. We no longer see veils in between people. So the Matrix is all about putting up tons of veils to separate us from ourselves, separate us from other people, because when we are raw and naked and exposed with who we are with ourselves and other people, there's not a whole lot of chance for difficulty. We're not going to really say a whole lot of mean things. We're going to be saying a lot of supportive things. We're going to be very curious. We're going to be in an intimate environment. When we tear down the walls and the veils with who we are with ourselves and other people, we are naturally in an intimate state. So this is another area I will briefly touch on: Tantra and intimacy. Tantra is all about being genuinely present. This is something people tell me about me, that I'm very genuine and present. Most of my life, people were telling me it was a bad thing. They were saying I was too genuine. But I learned that basically being genuine is about being in the moment and being now, being present. And this is really, really, really important. And it is something that we've been trained not to do. So I've gone to a party with the most conscious young people, the most starseeds in my area, the most enlightened people of the young generation. And I had conversations with them, and everyone was saying how much they wanted to be more genuine, but none of them were genuine. The most genuine thing they could say was that they wanted to be more genuine, and then here's me talking about what it is to be genuine and being genuine with them, and they're kind of scapegoating me. They're kind of pushing me to the side and saying, ew, no, you're being weird. You're weird. Why are you being weird? We want to be in our imaginary world. And then I realized that most people aren't ready to take the step. Even starseeds, even people that are on some kind of a spiritual path are often still spiritual bypassing, and it's still just a game. So this is really important to recognize, and to let people have their game, that's fine, but to not take the game and make it more valuable than it really is. It's just a game. We really want to make this into reality, and for it to be reality, it has to be real, and for it has to be real, it has to be tangible, which means we actually have to be doing it. This means we have to be questioning ourselves all the time. I know that this has been made into a scary thing to question ourselves. We're supposed to be unquestionably confident. This is bullshit. Confidence comes from questioning ourselves. Once we question ourselves enough and we really know ourselves and we're questioning everything all the time, then we're really confident because we're checking in all the time. We're not afraid anymore. There's so few unknowns anymore that we're not scared anymore. So confidence comes from questioning ourselves, not from not questioning ourselves. People who don't question themselves just build an isolationary wall around themselves and around reality and lose touch with reality very quickly and are very prone to manipulation. So by questioning ourselves, that's how we remove our slave programming, and that's how we know we're genuine, is when we're questioning ourselves. It's not sexy, it's awesome. It leads to a state of perpetual bliss. It is where the future is heading. We are from the future and we are getting back to the future. The future is a higher state of consciousness where everybody gets along and makes wonderful things. It's happened before, it's happening now, it happens in the future. Time is this confusing word. It's all now. The more we do it, the more it is. This is not a fantasy. This is a reality. This is how people live. This is how this has been explored in many small ways, in many sustainable ways, and now we're just birthing it in a very large way because it's the time to do it. So we need to go out there and be curious about ourselves and be curious about other people. And the phrase, why, love? It should be our guiding principle no matter what happens to us. All right, I hope you have a wonderful morning.